So this is being recorded for posterity and perhaps for YouTube as well, depending on whether I'm successful in getting it put up here. However, my name is Stuart Flashman. I'm the chair of the board of directors, and we have here tonight the 5 candidates for the board of directors. Let me introduce them in alphabetical order. Ashley Cruz.
Yay!
MC Howe.
Howe.
Yes. Leonora C. Sally Smith. And Courtney Welch. And we're going to ask each of them to say a few words about what they're doing, why they're running, about their background and why they're running, and then we'll open it up for questions from the audience. So let's see. Courtney, why don't we start with you?
Oh, fine. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Courtney Welch, and I have been on the RCPC since January. I'm an Oakland native. I've lived here my entire life, in different cities, and I have a young son named Caleb. I'm currently on the Nonprofit Housing Association of Northern California team. I'm the admin and membership associate. I am also the California Democrat Black Caucus secretary, and I feel like the best thing a citizen can do is be an involved citizen. I joined the RCPC to become more involved in my community and to help cultivate a community where everyone feels included and has opportunity. Thank you.
I'm Sally Smith. I'm a Rockridge resident, though I have not been here my whole life. I come from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, from western Pennsylvania, and I came to the Bay Area 10 years ago, and this place has become home. I don't intend to go home to western Pennsylvania. I've been living in Rockridge for 3 years, and in the East Bay for a bit longer than that. Went to school at Berkeley. The reason why I wanted to get involved with RCPC is because I think that this body it does really interesting and important things, working directly with the city and working with residents, and both representing residents and also trying to educate and share information with residents. I work as a loan officer for a nonprofit loan fund, the Northern California Community Loan Fund, and that actually gives me more time right now, so I have free time that I could use to be on a body like this. And I care about a number of issues: transportation, schools, amenities, just sort of general neighborhood health. An issue I care really a lot about is housing. I think the whole state of California, and especially the Bay Area, is trying to figure out what to do about housing right now. And I do think that that's something that we need to be a part of here in Rockridge. And I think that's something that will take a lot of work to figure out, and I think RCPC hopefully can be a part of helping to figure that out, and I'd like to contribute. That's what I'm doing here.
And next is Leonora C., who is a incumbent board member.
So I'm going to stand up because I'm really short and I'm not seeing faces in the back, so I want you to see me. I'm running for a second full term on the RCPC board. I was first appointed in July of 2015, and I have 3 things I want to say about what guides me for the work I do on the board and for why I want to continue. The first one is about change. And Rockridge is facing, along with the rest of California, is facing a number of changes, some of which are quite controversial. And so I want to put some perspective on that. In the 1960s, the worst possible change got dropped on North Oakland, the freeway. It devastated and divided the whole North Oakland community, including Rockridge. And Rockridge was the worst hit, but altogether the community lost 30 streets worth of houses and businesses. Devastating. So after that, anything that goes on in terms of some of the proposals we've heard cannot be that bad. That said, I think that RCPC was a driver and an agent for change back then with the Rockridge community. which is why we have a vibrant community now. And I think that's a really important thing to remember. The other thing to remember is when I start worrying about change, then I start thinking, well, no change? We could be back in about 1977, what the neighborhood looked like then. No, thank you. So that's one. I'm going to talk a long time here. Sorry. Two, credentials. I worked for I was actually director of an environmental nonprofit, and our focus was helping people in local communities solve environmental problems. And the people I worked with taught me so much. First, that it's important to listen to everyone's views respectfully, and second, that local people can come up with some brilliant ideas that you can incorporate in whatever solution you have to a problem or that you're trying to find. Third, and that's the present and the future, I support density. I also support affordability. I don't support one-size-fits-all solutions, and I do believe that affordability and density can be reached by a mix of options. And having said that, I'm really interested in working with RCPC again and the Land Use Committee and the community to continue a respectful and thoughtful and lively and exciting conversation about this going forward. RSPC is already working on affordability, and I hope that we'll be able to continue and involve all of you. So, oh, by the way, I love doing the kitchen tour.
Next is Ashley Cruz.
Hello everyone, good evening, thank you for coming out. My name is Ashley Cruz, and I've been a resident of Rockridge for just over 5 years. I'm a landscape architect with a background in sustainable and ecological planning, community engagement, and complete street design. With a combination of my background and a seat here on the board, I think I'll be able to create positive change in our neighborhood. I can remember the first issue of the Rockridge News that I received on my doorstep, and it really made me feel like I belonged to a community. And I still look forward to getting the Rockridge News so that I could feel connected to local stories, my neighborhood happenings, and updates. So the board. So I first became interested in the board when my friend's mom, MC, approached me and said that I would be an asset to the board. And it wasn't really until January that I thought that this could be a possibility for me. In January, that was when Bart decided to cut down the trees, the beautiful red ironbark eucalyptus trees that were in our parking lot. And it was at that moment when I realized that I have this knowledge, time, and passion, and I want to share it with my community. So, I believe that I can help affect positive change for our outdoor spaces, where people connect to transit, where people connect to each other. Thank you.
Last but not least is MC Ho, who is a current board member.
Hello, as I said in my statement in the Rockridge News, I've already served one term with RCPC, and I see my role, as you can see from my hair, as representing the older neighbors in the community. And I think, as I said, I think I'm, without doubt, the oldest board member. We came to Hills Avenue about 40 years ago, and I've been so happy to be able to still be here 40 years later. My children are gone, but I'm still here. I've been a city planner and also an Oakland school teacher. I enjoy the land use things are very interesting to me, but my knowledge has gotten a little dim on that area. But I like to be part of the nuts and bolts of putting on the things that we do, helping with the kitchen tour or the Halloween parade or things like that. And I see my role now not as a cerebral planner, but a person just working on the RCPC. So, and I want to continue helping keep this a viable neighborhood.
So we have a couple minutes for questions. If anyone has anything they would like to ask all of the candidates or any one of the candidates, are there any questions anyone has for the candidates?
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
How many positions are open?
There are actually 6 positions open. So, and actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because there is one thing I wanted to mention, which is that assuming all of these 5 candidates get elected, we will still have 1 vacancy on the board of directors, which we would like to fill. And the way we fill vacancies when there isn't an election is by appointment by the board. If any of you have an interest in serving on the board, in joining these folks on the board, please send us an email. You can send it to chair@rockridge.org and indicate that you're interested and tell us a little bit about yourself. And we'll probably, what we would do then would be to set up an interview for you to come to a board meeting and talk to the board, and then the board can decide whether he wants to appoint you. But it's a fairly simple process, and if you feel like you have some time to spare to help your community, this would be a wonderful way to do it. If there aren't any other questions, we will move on to the next part of our program. Thank you.